Hop in. The next best of 5. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Golden Aura. It is Team Liquid's Mana. Had some good results recently, if I remember correctly, in the ESL Masters that's going on right now. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner is our red Zerg player for Starlight Twinkle, Cham. A player I honestly haven't seen many games from recently, and I feel like I've said this the last couple times I've cast him as well, but I've really only cast him on the mid-season playoffs in this bracket recently. I just don't see a lot from him anymore, and it makes me sad because I like Cham. I like Cham a lot. I think he's a good dude, and he's a very entertaining player. Definitely has some cheeky builds up his sleeves. Spent some time in Korea not too long ago, and I think he soaked up some of the cheeses there as well. So Mana might have to play a little bit defensively. Mana, though, a very strong protest, and I think people underestimate Mana a lot. I feel like Mana is a kind of guy that gets underestimated by a lot of the community. He'll come in and get some surprise wins, but he's always been very strong. I believe he's the team captain of Team Liquid right now, who recently picked up Cure. Sick pickup for Liquid. It's like the old days. The old days where Team Liquid had all the Korean pros. The Tasia days, the Hero days. Wasn't Jaedong on Liquid for a little while? Am I crazy to think that happened for like a hot minute? I think that did. Somewhere I have a poster from back in the day. OG poster. I have a Team Liquid poster, but then I have one for Liquid Rising, which was like a documentary about Team Liquid, and it has all of the names of the Team Liquid people from back then, which is, I mean, it's just a piece of history. I feel like I should put that on the wall somewhere. It's from so long ago, I don't even know if Mana was on the team yet. Which is crazy, because he is one of the longest running StarCraft people. He's the longest, the oldest. What am I trying to say here? He's been on Team Liquid longer than anybody else has right now, as far as I'm aware. Maybe he is on the Liquid Rising poster. I'll have to check. Some esports history on that poster. But it's a pretty standard opening here out of Mana. Stargate opener. He's going to get the Oracle out, do some harassment. He's going to hit with these Adepts as well. And it looks like, oh my god, 5 drones going down. Some great damage here for Mana to start out with. You don't usually see the Adepts go in there before the Oracle. They try to hit at the same time often. But this time, maybe just seeing the opportunity, getting in there with those Adepts. 5 kills. And we still haven't seen the Oracle go in yet. There's 2 Queens up here, but that Oracle could still get a couple of kills. In fact, it's pretty much guaranteed to get a couple of kills. 1, 2, 3. Gonna target down a 4th. Needs to be careful. Take a lot of damage, but stays alive. 7 hit points. But it looks like the Lings that Cham had out are going to be able to force a cancel on this 3rd base. That's some nice victory there for Cham, who's down a lot of workers right now. He needs any victory he can get. Even though it's a small one, it is something. It is something. Forcing that cancel, delaying the 3rd base. Mana slightly less ahead than he would be otherwise. Now, 1 Adept might not be enough here to hold these Lings, but the Oracle is nearby. It's going to turn on, force these Lings to run away. Still the Oracle on the other side of the map as well that could try to be kind of cheeky and come back in. Doesn't have a lot of hit points, but can still be pretty good. Is unfortunate. Cham going to lose this Overlord. He has a couple more on the way, but he is going to be supply blocked for a hot second here. But he leaves the door open. Cham going to sneak in. Maybe able to target down a couple of probes. These kind of moves here is exactly what Cham needs to potentially get back into this game, because he took a lot of damage early on. So getting some probe kills, delaying a Nexus. I mean, there's small victories, but it's keeping the resources lost a little bit more even. Keeping the worker count now in favor of Cham. Could still be better for Cham. I still like Mana's position a little better, but as I say that, some Morlings come in over at the third base. Mana will clean them up, but well, this is all right for Cham. I actually don't mind this too much. The thing is, he spent so long now remaking workers that his army is very late into the game. He's just now getting some Roaches out. Oh, good pull away from Cham. That's going to allow Mana to push out on the map like this. Like, all the Lings are dead. It's just some Roaches popping. Mana's not being super committal. He's just trying to poke and prod. Maybe force some more units out than Cham was expecting to have to make. Delay some more drones. But Cham, he's not going for a fourth at all. There's no fourth base started. And I feel like if Mana realizes, he's got to know he's going to get attacked here soon. Oh, and Cham, what is this? Swarm hosts? Oh, this is not what I expected at all. I kind of forgot about this. Yeah, Cham loves to play some swarm hosts. And he is going to be on 3 bases against a 4-base Protoss here as Mana starts up that 4th before Cham. And he's going low eco. And he's just going to try to get as much, as good of trades as he can from these swarm hosts. Swarm hosts can be very cost efficient, but I don't know, Protoss have gotten better against them in recent times. Stalkers are going to blink up into the main base. They're going to force some of these Locusts to pop, and this is actually so bad for Cham, it's insane, because Mana's going to leave with the Stalkers, and the Void Rays are just going to chase these Swarm hosts around. This Void Ray could pop another one. It's going to stop and get killed by the Queen and the Spore, but it doesn't really matter. 2 Swarm hosts have already died. The momentum of Cham's Swarm hosts is just gone completely. And now Mana knows exactly what he's up against. And he's already killed 2 of those early Swarm hosts. They are not cheap units. There are still 9 out. Stalker's going to blink forward, try to get on top of these Roaches. And then they got to blink away. Oh, they're going to blink forward again. Mana sacrificing some Stalkers here. He's going to go for the recall. He's still going to lose, like, oh, a lot of Stalkers. Still going to lose a lot of Stalkers there, but he's got static defense up back at home, healing up these Stalkers. The Locusts were forced to pop, and more Swarm hosts went down. There's only 5 Swarm hosts on the field right now. Or no, wait, hold on. There's 5 Swarm hosts went down. There are 10 Swarm hosts on the field. But Cham already popped a bunch of the Locusts. They, so far, haven't gotten any damage done on Mana's side of the map. Usually when you get Swarm hosts, especially like this, on such a low eco like Cham is on, the first wave is the most important, and so far 2 full waves have been used on nothing, and now 3 more Swarm hosts going down. Mana doing a fantastic job whittling down this Swarm host force. Now the first wave of Locusts to hit Mana's side of the map is going to go in right now. It's going to land on these cannons, but I think the cannons are going to be able to at least buy some time so the Nexus won't go down. The Stalkers moving out here, fighting against the Lings and the Roaches. Ooh, that shield battery just barely saving that Nexus. That's actually super dicey. And it feels like Cham's going to be able to send those Locusts back in a little while here and might be able to just kill that Nexus. But Mana, in the meantime, is beating the army straight up with these Blink Stalkers. So many of these Roaches are so low. He pops a few of them. 7 drones went down in the meantime to a Warp Prism with 4 Zealots in it, hitting the main. And while Cham will push that away, his economy is not great. He is going to dive back on top of this, and he should absolutely get this Nexus. But in the meantime, again, Mana is trading well with this army. But Mana has, like, no army behind this. So while, yeah, he's killing these Roaches and Ravagers, more Roaches are going to show up. And a lot of Cham's army is in these Swarm hosts, but he's He's still at almost triple the army supply of mana right now. This is kind of insane. Mana losing that third base. He's going to pop another Ravager. Cham is nearly maxed. Honestly, I do not know how Cham is doing this. The trades have been very, very close, but Cham has been a lot more efficient than I had expected. And these Swarm Hosts have really found damage despite so many of them dying early on. There are still 12 of them out. Shield Battery's doing their best to hold on against the Roaches, but the next wave of Locusts is coming in. They are going to land and drop. The Super Shield Battery turns on. It gets targeted down. Does Mana have enough here to hold on? The Roaches diving forward as well. The Locusts are gone, but Cham doesn't care. He's got too many Roaches. I think Cham's got this game. He is maxed right now. That is actually insane. I thought Mana was in such a good spot before that first wave of Locusts landed, and then it just started spiraling out of control. Mana's army supply just never got above like 50, and Cham's just grew and grew and grew. He'd lose 5 Roaches and a Ravager and replace that with 10 Roaches. And yeah, eventually that's enough to just completely overwhelm. Cham's up 100 army supply right now. Mana, he's holding on, but like technically. He is technically not dead at the moment. But Cham has won this game. Somehow, some way, he has made this style work. And this is one of those Cham things that I just do not understand how he does it. I don't get it. But he does. He makes it happen. He's done this before, and he's doing it again. I love to see that, man. I love to see that. Again, I haven't been able to cast a ton of Cham over the last couple of years, honestly. Maybe a year and a half. I haven't cast much Cham. But it's really cool to see that he's like, still has a style. He has a specific style. It's unique to him. And he's making it work here against Mana. Sick first game. It's a hard style to make work. And Mana, I really think, was in a great spot when he picked off those first few Swarm Hosts. Losing the Void Array was kind of painful, but he was just like, he was getting such good value. Picked off so many Swarm Hosts before the first wave of Locusts could get into his base, but Cham was so committed to it that it ended up getting damage done anyways. Nobody actually predicted Mana with the channel points. Only Cham was predicted. Maybe they knew. Maybe they knew. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner of Site Delta. Here on game number 2, we have Team Liquid's Mana, who I would say is the favorite to win this, but it is a little hard to say. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner is Starlight Twinkle's Cham, taking game number 1 in his own particular and unique style, which is just cool to see. I love when players have a style, they commit to it, and it can be really hard to play against somebody who has like a flavor. It's not that Cham does the same thing every game, right? He's just got a particular flavor, and it can be really hard to fight against somebody with a flavor, even if you know kind of the stuff they're likely to do. Just because, how often is Mana going to get practice against that kind of build? We haven't really seen Swarm Hosts heavily in this matchup for kind of a while. They pop out occasionally. Honestly, they don't usually do super well. But they're like, in very specific scenarios, they can be kind of okay sometimes. So we do see them occasionally, but I bet Mana runs into them like 1 out of every 500 PVZs at this point. It's got to be so insanely rare. And then you've got Cham, who probably goes for them like 1 out of every 3 or 1 out of every 5 ZVPs. So he's going to be much more familiar with them in this game state right now than Mana is. It'll make it very hard for Mana to react to. And that's kind of a cool thing. It's like you're gaining an advantage by using what is theoretically a worse unit. Man, I love the strategy in StarCraft. I feel like we kind of neglect it occasionally talking about it. Obviously, when we see a cool strategy, we talk about it. But, like, I don't know. There's something really special about the fact that this game isn't just who can macro and micro better. You know what I mean? It's not just it's not just the mechanics. As much as I think mechanics are very important, I feel like this game does have a lot of strategy that you can throw in. I mean, that's one of the 3 letters, right? There's real time. That's your mechanics. And there's strategy. Pretty important. Pretty important, in my opinion. Gonna take this downtime in game number 2. As the Dark Shrine goes down, perfect time to ask those of you watching to hit that follow button if you're on Twitch. Maybe subscribe to the YouTube if you'd like to see more great games of StarCraft like this. I post my my favorite casts of the week onto YouTube. Usually every day I have an upload of a good series. Occasionally I don't have enough StarCraft to cover that. Occasionally I have too much StarCraft and I have 2 uploads a day. That does happen. This past week I was 1 a day, but the week before I think I had like 9 or 10 in the week. Try to keep it going. Other good content available on that YouTube as well, like the short I just posted, which was about the cute cat that I just got. Officer Everything Bagel. Cham going for the Roaches again. Got that lair on the way. I don't know. We'll see if he goes for something similar or if he even has time. Since the Dark Shrine is now complete. The dankest of shrines. It's such a cool building. We get some, like, shout out to the artwork. The StarCraft art style is so sick. And I feel like I've really grown to appreciate the, I don't know, the art style and the consistency of StarCraft. We've seen a lot of new RTSs that are coming out. And while they have some very cool art in their own right, I really appreciate StarCraft. I feel like StarCraft is still the best looking RTS. It's just a nice looking game. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, Mana isn't going for DTs. I guess the Dark Shrine was scouted. He's just going to go for Archons. He's going to triple Archon drop Cham. Oh, that's kind of beautiful. Look at him go, dude. The Roaches are going to come down, and the Archons are like, we might be able to win this fight. Oh, he's trying to dodge the Roach shots. Mana going for the fanciest micro known to man. Can he get out of here? He can get out of here. Just trading for free. What? That is insane. Granted, if he loses 1 Archon, it's a huge amount of loss. But he's warping in Stalkers with this now as well. The low hit point Archon out front, but it gets picked up. He's dodging more Roach shots. Can he keep doing it, the Madman? Finally, a Stalker goes down. He lost a unit. Oh my god. But just the 1. This is still an excellent trade for Mana. He has a 3rd base coming up. Now he's clearing some of this creep. Cham has Roach speed, though. So Mana's going to have to try to back out of here. It looks like he's going to lose a couple Stalkers. Yeah, all the Stalkers are going down. The Archon trying desperately to get out of here. It looks like Archons are pretty quick. I didn't realize Archons were so fast. Look at these big boys go. They're floating on clouds over here. Mana falls back to some reinforcements. His base is getting hit. But I feel like Mana might have enough to hold on. It's really dicey, though. Cham is committing pretty hard to this, but it's a lot of slow lings, because guess what? He doesn't have ling speed. It's actually not even on the way. So he's not going to commit to this. Mana still, I mean, he's lost a few more things now. He lost all 4 of those Stalkers. But these trades are still fantastic for him right now. Cham has been able to get up to 60 drones, though. He's going to keep on droning. He's getting Pneumatized Carapace before he gets Metabolic Boost. Overlord speed before Link speed. Not a build you see very often, but Wants to save his 100 gas. Double Archon drop coming back in, trying to get some drone kills. I think they got one. Shockingly low number of drones going down, but there's no Spore Crawler over here. Which means this Prism can just kind of freely maneuver around, focus down some of these drones. There's so many low hit point drones in here, but 5 of them going down. The Archon's going to back out for now. But the Stalker's coming in. Guess what? These Stalkers have Blink. They can pop in, they can pop out. Still no Link speed, so these Lings are not scary at all. Mana not backing up far enough, though. Needs to get these Stalkers out of there. Mana, oh, I think he's more focused on the micro in the main base. You gotta get those Stalkers out of there for sure. Good focus fire here, just picking off some of those low hit point Roaches. Double Overseer gonna fly to the main base, see what's going on. Oh, gums up the Forge and the Robo Bay. But still Disruptor's coming out. Uh-oh. Cham, be careful. Careful, Cham, there's a Disruptor. We've seen Mana do some wild things with Disruptors. He's going to get a nice kill to start things off. I think that was a couple Roaches and a Ravager, perhaps. Mana will push this back. The Prism is getting kind of low, but the Archons are still both in there. And it looks like Mana's going to go for the counter push. Cham is up quite a bit of army supply, but his Blink speed is still not done. Oh, man. Cham making a big mistake here, not getting that Link speed. Mana gonna rotate around, looking for a way in. Cham does have a 4th base. He's up a lot of supply. Man, I feel like Mana's been playing such a good game again. But Cham he's just ahead. Like, just straight up ahead. His macro has been kind of insane. Disruptor Nova goes out, only gets 1 low hit point Roach though. Mana losing a lot of Stalkers here for this. He warps in more, but Cham's still up 50 supply right now, and it's all in the army. His army is just dominating this. The Prism gets out of the way of those Biles, but I mean, that is a low consolation. Mana doesn't even get the pickup on the Disruptor. It goes down, and the Lings have speed now. They're getting in here, taking down some of the static defense. Looks like they will run away. Immortal dropping back here, but it's only going to be able to do so much. Cham Scouts at the 4th base is up. And he's so far ahead in army, though. Look at this. Look at the supply. Mana's not even broken 100 supply right now. It's chilling at 99. His army is so low. They have the same worker count. There's a couple more probes go down, but I feel like Cham's just going to have overwhelming numbers. The Ling's getting in and again trying to gun down some of this static defense. But Cham is here with most of the rest of his army. More Roaches can join up soon. Not a ton of Ravagers and no Banelings, so his army is a little bit low tech. But I think there's just the 1 Disruptor right now. I don't think Mana's going to have enough here, guys. This is looking like Cham going up 2-0. If Mana can hold, that would be fantastic. But, I mean, it would be very impressive. Disruptor Nova does not get the connection. That would have been huge. But instead it's not huge. And there's so many more Roaches here that I feel like could just join this fight. Mana's got to be feeling good about this fight right now, but there's just another big group of Roaches back here. And while a couple drones do go down, the slow Zealot run-by is trying to come home. And this 4th base is in a lot of trouble. That being said, it looks like Mana is trading efficiently enough with this to potentially save the 4th base. I feel like Cham needs to target this down. He's not going to get it, though. Obviously, he's got more behind this. Is still producing, but he doesn't have quite the advantage he had before. Mana gets to keep the 4th base alive. The worker count ends up the same. That being said, Cham did get into Vipers in the meantime, so his Hive is done. Adrenal's almost done as well, although I don't think he has like any Lings left. But maybe he can do a round of Lings. He's out of Larva right now, so this is a problem for Cham. He's been spending so much of his Larva. Oh my god, I can't believe he's going to let those DTs get by. I mean, this could be kind of huge. That Dark Shrine from earlier might be able to come in clutch. There's no detection here. It looks like Cham might have tried to start a Spore, but it didn't get started. He is hitting on the other side of the map. The Roach is going to be able to gun down this Nexus through the overcharged shield battery. And at the same time, they're going to take down the defenses at this base. So while the DTs are going to be able to get in here and start getting some damage done, Cham still might be able to overrun this. Units coming down from that other base, but Cham, he's killed one base. Can he target down the other one? He's not targeting down again. Oh, man. It looks like Mana's going to be able to clean this up. Few Lings do show up. 16 more Roaches on the way. The fourth base for Cham stays alive. He still has Roaches over here. He's got to be careful not to sacrifice these for nothing, as it looks like Mana's going to come up and clean them up. Well, I guess the Roaches will trade out at least a little bit against the Stalkers. They're going to go for the runaway, but it's hard to run away in this situation. Cham is reinforcing. He's still up in army supply. He's back to mining at this base. It's very low, but Mana doesn't really have a way to go kill it right now. Maybe he could send a couple of Zealots in and just try to focus it down. Might be his best bet. Cham again grouping up for a little double prong here. Might try to come hit this. I love the one Immortal and the one Prism. It's just infinity Roaches cannot break it. Mana pushes this away, but he has just been floating right around 100 supply this whole time. And Cham, he's been above 150 this whole time. He has just nonstop been producing Roaches. But now he's getting into Lings and Hydras. Trying to go for that higher tech to make this a little bit more doable. Remember, the Lings have Adrenal. They would be very powerful. Very strong Lings, despite not having any other upgrades. In fact, neither player really doing great on the upgrades. Oh, baby! Mana gets a nice free hit there as Cham just had those Roaches chilling. That Disruptor gets some good value. So far, the trades have been very, very close. Mana going to dive in here and realizes there's too much to contend with. He's going to have to pull back home to his shield battery and cannons. Guns down the Overseer. Maybe he can warp in a couple of DTs, but I don't know. Cham doesn't seem to be slowing down at all. A Viper does get picked off. Can a Blinding Cloud go down? I love these Vipers. They try to get an Abduct, but I think the Blink actually supersedes the Abduct. That one goes down on the Disruptor, or maybe it got picked up by the Prism. Maybe that's what it was. None of the Disruptor Novas will connect, and this might finally be it. Cham up 100 supply, and there is the GG. So close for so long. Mana holding when it felt impossible. But Cham not giving up. Never gave up. Never surrendered. And now he's up 2-0. Very, very impressive start for Cham. Honestly, some really sick play for Cham. In both games, I thought he was behind. Like the work Mana was doing with his Blink Stalkers, with the Archons in that last game, just like it felt like he was getting so far ahead. But I don't know, maybe Mana just didn't have enough behind it. Cham, it didn't seem to matter what he lost. Ended up ahead anyways. We're going to hop into game number 3. Going to be on Alcyone. All right. And now needs to win 3 games in a row to move on in this bracket. In the lower left-hand corner, we have Team Liquid's Mana. And his opponent, the upper right-hand corner. For Starlight Twinkle, up 2-0 in a very impressive first couple of games. It is Cham. Sick to see Cham playing so well, man. I love it. I haven't gotten to catch any of his games in the ESL Masters yet, but he must be looking good there if he's looking this good here. I guess the question is, what is Mana going to bust out in this game? Is he going to try to do something more aggressive? I mean, last game was pretty aggressive, but I'm surprised he didn't let the DTs do anything. He just went straight into the triple Archon drop, which is not something you see very often. And it got some good value, but I guess it just wasn't enough, man. Cham able to stay ahead. Dave Testa. Thank you so much for the raid, bud. I hope you had a lovely stream.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
The 27-month resub as the probe goes down. Perfect timing. Dave. Thank you, my friend. 27. That's our second 27-month resub of the day. What are the chances that you and Harrow the Ninth are both on 27 months? It was meant to be. 27, an important number of the day. Keep that in mind, everybody. 27. Today's episode is brought to you by the number 27. As in, if you're 27 years old, you're old. And if you're above that, sucks to be you. How's your back doing? How's that left knee? Yeah, you shouldn't have eaten that slice of pizza last night. 27 is old. It's true. So yeah, we got some mid-season playoffs going on right now. Dave and Dave's audience. Currently, Cham up 2-0 on Mana. Cham's been looking really good. Just to give you guys a quick recap of this series. Game 1, Cham went for like a 3-base Swarm Host. He was on a Roach Swarm Host. And Mana started off by killing, I think, 5 Swarm Hosts before the first wave of Locusts even hit Mana's base. He was ahead a base. And still, Cham able to kind of muscle through, getting damage done and just building nothing but Roaches. And eventually able to overwhelm Mana. I'm really not sure how he managed, but good value trades and cost efficiency with the Swarm Host. Game 2, Mana went for a Dark Shrine, but it was scouted, so instead he went for a triple Archon drop. Got some good damage done with that, traded really nicely. And then Cham on 4 bases made pretty much just Ling Roach and had just more stuff. So far Cham's macro has been pretty dominant in this match. And it feels like he's been able to win out just by powering up on units. Like, the upgrades haven't been necessarily great. He did get to Hive last game, got some Vipers out, but the tech has been pretty low for the most part. Lots of Roach Ling action. So we're waiting for game 3 here to see what's going on. It's going to be a +1 melee. So far, not much out of Mana. Stargate opener. I mean, pretty standard stuff. 30s is the new 20s. That's what I try to tell myself. Does that mean, as I'm about to turn 32, that really I'm turning 22? It's like I might as well be 22, is what you're telling me. 22. I think that's how the Taylor Swift song goes. Right? Right, guys? Cham's going for a Bane Nest. He's got 10 Lings on the way. It feels like Cham's going to get a bit aggressive here. The Void Ray and the Oracle are diving in, but the Queens and the Spore should be able to keep most of these drones safe. And yeah, good defense from Cham. Getting into the lair. And a Roach Horn. All right. Oh, but Cham not watching. And Stasis. Hey, drones. Hey, drones. Don't move. Hey guys. Freeze. Haha. Haha. You guys can't do anything. Sucks to be you. All right, back to work. Back to work, you maggots. What you doing standing around there? Poor drones. I'm sorry, sir. Wait, with stasis. You didn't pull us away. The commander, he didn't see the oracle. Oh my god, what's happening? I'm busy giving voice to these drones, these poor drones. And Mana's going for double carrier. That's hilarious. Ling's gonna sneak in. These Lings will actually spot the carriers. This feels like a bit of a mistake from Mana, perhaps, showing his hand. But the Spire's already on the way for Cham, so I don't know if he got the scout, or maybe he just kind of thought this was what it was. He's like, I don't know, that Protoss doesn't have a lot of ground units. I feel like it might be carriers. And it, in fact, was. You thought Pig was co-commentating. Oh, yeah, sorry. Do my best Pig impression. I should work on that. Gotta work on my Pig impression. Mana's gonna try to hit with a... Oh, okay, both carriers. I was gonna say a carrier and an oracle. He's gonna go for the double carrier here. Now, the Spire is done. Corruptors are on the way out, so these carriers can get some damage done. The triple spore, though, actually do some decent damage here. At the same time, Ling's getting in. 13 probes going down here. Lings are going to run away. 9 drones going down, so both players losing quite a bit. But Cham on 75 workers right now. Actually cruising on the economy. The recall to get those carriers out of there. I don't know if he saw the Corruptors or not, though. But I believe... Oh, he hasn't seen the Spire. But he also hasn't seen any Hydras. So I feel like he's got to know that there's a Spire... I mean, probably done by now, right? He's got to expect there to be Corruptors coming out. Cham going to scout this 4th base for Mana on the bottom side of the map here. A lot of Corruptors coming out. I think Cham's just going to try to dive on this with max Corruptors. Like, just a ton of them. It's such a... Honestly, it's such a Cham thing to do. Like, he's been playing so Roach heavy. And as we all know, Corruptors are the Roaches of the skies. So it kind of makes sense that he'd go for just like a whole bunch of those instead. Ah, Roach Corruptor, man. Cham, this is such a Cham composition. And I don't say that in a mean way. I don't say this in like a bad way. I love Cham. His play today has been fantastic. But this to me feels so Cham, and I just love him for it. Roach Corruptor is, it's the most like, it's like if you were gonna have like a fight, right? Like duel. You were gonna have a duel, and you could choose a martial weapon, you know, like a sword or an axe, shield. You had all these options. Roach Corruptor, it's just like, it's like a cinder block. It's like you went in there. And all the swords are like in a cinder block, right? They're all just put in there. They're holding them. And you can choose like, oh, rapier, a long sword. Cham just fucking takes all the swords out. He picks up the cinder block and he's just going to bash Mana on the head with it. That's what's happening right now. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It really is. I need that scene to happen in a movie now. That sounds like a perfect movie scene. I'm ready for it. All right, Cham's diving forward. He doesn't care about these Roaches at all. He wants to kill the air. That's his goal. The Roaches can win the ground fight. They can lose the ground fight. He wants to kill the air. The Roaches are, by the way, going to win the ground fight. But it looks like the air fight is going to go Mana's direction, as the Corruptors are dead. And the Roaches, while they started out pretty well, an Immortal and some Zealots now coming in here. And now the Carriers can just kill these Roaches. So a lot of probes going down. Yes, the ground army of Mana did die. At least a lot of it did. But he holds on. That being said, he's down almost 20 workers. So Cham on the other side of the map on 5 bases. He's up a lot of workers. He's going to remake this army. And this is why it's like the cinder block. Like he like hit the other guy with the cinder block and it broke. You know, Mana deflected it. All that training that you do where you like chop the cinder block, it worked out. But then Cham just like picks up the 2 pieces of the cinder block and he starts hitting them again. It's like, oh yeah, I guess it's not. I guess you can just do that again, huh? Storm is available here for Mana, so he's going to be dropping some storms, but he's also dropping them on his own carriers. But it doesn't really matter. Storm doesn't do that much to Protoss. It looks like, though, Cham is going to win that air fight now. And now there's like a couple of carriers being made, but 1 or 2 carriers is not that great. But again, Mana defends. He's on 4 bases. He has traded pretty damn well, 10,000 to 13,000 resources. But Cham has been mining quite a bit more for quite a while. Obviously, killing all those workers in the last engagement really helping him too. As Mana has not been able to get back up to that good worker count. He's only on 71, which is fine. But compared to the 84 of Cham, and I'm surprised Cham hasn't taken this base yet. It looks like he might want to. There's been almost no pressure on his side of the map for like 5 minutes. These Zealots going to come over now. And they're going to do a very important thing, which is scout the lurkers. Kill 1. But knowing the lurkers are there is very important. As Cham has full switched his composition. And he's now picked up a sword from the ground. And we've learned that he's actually also a really good sword fighter. So now he's got a very, very good composition here. Lurker Hydra, very good. With some Ling support. It's going to be mostly Lurker Ling, which is kind of wild. Because there is still some air here from Mana. Oh, and there's no Vipers. Oh my god, there's so many Lurkers though. How many Storms are there? I don't know. I really don't know how this is going. There's still a lot of Lurkers left, but they're starting to die. The Zealots coming in clutch. And while all those Immortals on the ground, except for this brand new one, went down, the lack of anti-air to deal with the 3 carriers really causing problems there for Cham. Tried to get real fancy. I mean, there's a huge surround. He killed a lot of Immortals, but still good trades here for Mana. And Mana now is out on the map. He's clearing this creep. Cham is moving around. He wants to go take this fight. He's got Corruptors this time. Just a handful of them, but enough to at least fight against the carriers and keep those lurkers alive. He's got some Hydras, too, to help out against this. Stasis Trap catches a couple of Hydras. 1 lurker caught on the wrong side of the pathing area here. Mana trying to take this lower base. Cham finally taking this one. I wouldn't hate to see him go for this one as well, just because Mana doesn't have this base, so he's got that like empty base buffer zone. I'd also love to see some Vipers out of Cham. That can make this army very complicated, but like yoinking 1 or 2 carriers into some spores and a bunch of Hydras can be so, so powerful. Right now, Mana's still just playing defensively, just trying to hold on, take those good trades. He's up to quite a few workers now, so that army or the economy lead that Cham had, it's gonna be gone. They're gonna be at the same economy. Cham just going for a full counterattack, and his army is completely revelated here, so he is gonna be seen, and Mana's gonna be able to respond. But at the same time, the Corruptors got either the kill or the cancel on this base. So Cham taking this fight up here. I'm surprised he's sticking around, actually. I thought he was just going to leave. But Mana's going to clean his whole army up. This feels like a bit of an overextension from Cham. He just let everything up there die. He knew he was revelated. I would have loved to see him. Oh, no. Oh, move command. Oh, move command. Oh, no. Mana just missing 2 lurkers for free there. It looks like he might get them anyways, as Cham is just not paying attention. Oh, he tries to pull everything back way too late in the wrong direction. Both players just moving so fast. They're honestly, it seems like they're not looking at their army. They're focused elsewhere. But Cham, I mean, now the trades are terrible for him. Before it was like 3,000 resources. We're up to 7,000 resources different between these two. And Mana's been mining so much. He's up to 90 probes. And while this base isn't quite done yet, I'd love to see him long distance mine from it. He's going to move across the map. He's got a massive army. I mean, this army is so scary. And Cham's complexity is just not there. He does have a couple of Vipers out now, but there's not a ton of lurkers. Let's see if he can get some stuff done here. He's going to be able to take down one of the carriers. The storm is really nice. Cham might be able to push this back, though. His base is in a little bit of trouble, but he's still got some static defense here. Looks like there's no more yoinks. The Corruptors are a little bit afraid to dive forward. The Hydra's trying to push forward first. The Interceptors cannot fight the Hydras. They're going to go ahead and kill the base. The base will go down, but Mana's on the retreat. This is actually very scary for Mana. One carrier on the wrong side loses all its Interceptors. The recall does not get all of these units, and Mana leaving some very, very valuable units behind. But Zealots counterattacking down here as well. 9 drones getting killed. Cham's economy getting hit very hard. And while finally Cham takes a good trade, evening up this resources lost by quite a bit, even if he doesn't lose this base, this has already done so much damage, and it looks like the Zealots, they'll get cleaned up. Cham's going to hold on to that base at least. But Cham needs to be able to go across the map right now. This is his opportunity. Carriers take a while to build. They're about to pop, but they're not here quite yet. The army supply is in favor of the Zerg. He needs to be able to get a kill on this base. This is crucial for him. I think he can. Where is Mana's army? It's way up here. So far away. Is Mana just going to counterattack? Oh, I don't know about this. Mana's going to lose this base basically for free. Looks like he's posturing here. Cham thinking about getting some yoinks. Needs to be careful with his Vipers. Cham going to keep pushing. I don't know about this, though. This is dicey. The army supply is very similar. Cham's going to hit on the backside with a bunch of Hydras, though. And that could really draw Mana's army to the wrong direction. Mana landing some storms out here. Goes for another one. Might need to get some feedbacks on those Vipers, but this base goes down. Zealots getting into this base, though, killing 16 drones. Cham sending some units up there to deal with it. Both players taking big hits to their economy. But I think this is actually worse for Mana. Mana's bases are getting like really mined out here. His main and natural are pretty much completely gone. The third base is half gone. The fourth base is half gone. But we have another engagement in the middle of the map. Oh, and this one's going a lot better for Mana. I think he just killed all of Cham's important units. Cham was trying to pull back, but a lot of those units didn't make it. Lurkers, I don't know if the Vipers made it back. It looks like they did not. And he is just on pure Hydra Corruptor right now. Trying to morph a few Lurkers. Cham's in a lot of trouble, though. No spellcasters here. Just a few static defense structures. Not enough to really help him out. The storms are crucial. A few Lurkers do pop, though. They're going to help out against the ground. Can Cham push forward? He loses the base, but that gives him more area to push out of here. Mana is retaking both of his bases, and he's got this one almost done up here. He's still killing drones at this 5th base, and Cham's in, I mean, he's in a terrible spot right now. For a second there, it felt like he was in a good place, but then he took another bad fight, and it's now an 8,000 resource difference in favor of the Protoss, who, I mean, he's about to have 3 bases finish up here. 78 probes. He should have excellent, excellent mining momentarily. And Cham's mining is just garbage. I mean, this base is still alive, technically, 101 hit points. This one is trying desperately to come back up, but 5 Zealots are going to come in here and could just force another cancel. Delay this base even more, and that's just all to pull Cham completely out of position. Look at his army go down there. And Mana just hits up here. He's going to go for the safety move of killing this hatch, but it looks like he should be able to get both. Storms can zone out the army. Cham's about to lose all of his mining. Every single bit of it. He's got this and long distance, and that is it right now. He's got to be careful not to kill this hatchery. He's got 6 Vipers here. The army supply is still kind of close, but I feel like Mana's army is just better. He still has 6 High Templar in here. Or at least 4 in this army. A couple elsewhere. Let's see if Cham can make it happen. He's up 2-0, but I think we might be going to a game 4. Mana playing it very safe. But man, there's just... Cham has not been able to do anything to his economy for so long. Mana is mining just a million more resources. The income is so in his favor. He's going to take one more fight. I think this is going to be it. The Blinding Cloud is super cool, but that's about it. There's the GG. Mana finally secures a win by going for those early carriers. And while it felt like Cham had some opportunities in that game, he definitely had some advantages at different points. Mana never let it stay for very long. Took some good fights. I feel like the big thing there for Cham was there were just a couple of really key fights that went so poorly for him. Yeah, there is a point in time where you can A-move like Roach Corruptor into the army. Or, well, Hydras are a little bit harder, I think. They're so fragile. I think Cham was just trying to hit that moment where he had so much more stuff. Think about Roaches. This is pretty true for Corruptors as well. Is usually the Zerg is just able to make so many of them you can overwhelm. And that seems to be Cham's game plan. It's kind of how games 1 and 2 went, to varying degrees of success. He ultimately ended up winning, but it was very overwhelming, very Zergy. And Corruptors are a very similar unit in that way. And you can do that, and he was very close to doing that. That first fight, the Roaches killed like all the Archons. They killed the High Templar. But the Super Shield Battery held on to those carriers. The Corruptors weren't able to do the same in the air. And like 3 carriers survived, and that's enough for Mana to still have momentum. If all the carriers had traded out for all the Corruptors, that game gets a lot harder for the Protoss. But when you still have 3 carriers left and your opponent has no Corruptors, kind of chilling. Like, they can't attack you until they remake. And Cham's economy wasn't good enough to just instantly remax. He hadn't had enough drones for that long. But yeah, it seemed like Cham struggled a little bit more once the armies got a little more complex. And I do feel like that's harder for the Zerg, right? The Protoss army in that situation is easier to control. And we've seen players like Dark and Serral have some fantastic success with late game ZVP because their control is so insanely good with the spellcasters that it just makes it look broken. But unless you're one of the very top players, it's an extremely difficult thing to do. And even for them, they struggle with it a lot. See them make mistakes. But I digress. We're getting into game number 4. We're here on Hard Lead. Spawning in the lower right-hand corner for Team Liquid, it is Mana. Taking a game, finally. Making sure it's not a 3-0. His opponent in the upper left-hand corner, still on match point. Still 1 game away from facing Wayne in the next part of the bracket. And giving us a ZVZ for the day. We have Starlight Twinkles, Cham. I did get my cat. He is very cute. I love him very much. I'll just pop him on the screen real quick, just so you can say hi. Look how cute he is. Oh my god. He's such a sweetheart. He's sleeping. He's resting. Officer Everything Bagel. Very Zergy like a cinder block. I mean, it really is though. Like that is kind of the strategy, right? It's such a Zerg. It's so on point for the Zerg, and I really appreciate that. Like StarCraft 2 really committed to that idea, and I think it's actually been very successful with this concept of the Zerg being able to overwhelm with pure numbers. With pure numbers of worse units. It's one of those things that's been very consistent in StarCraft 2 that, I don't know, people have differing opinions on, but I love that, like, that was what they went for. And, like, it's true. It works, right? You can overwhelm with lower tier units and just have so many more units than your opponent that, like, yeah, Immortals hard counter Roaches. It's like nobody's business. But you could just have so many Roaches that it doesn't matter how many, like, it doesn't matter that you have an Immortal. And I think that's really cool. I feel like it's really cool that they were so successful at that. That we still to this day have games where, yeah, the Zerg player just makes like a ton of Lings or a ton of Roaches, a ton of Banes. They just go for as many of the low-tech units as they can, and they overwhelm the opponent who's going for a more tech-heavy, more specific composition, maybe something more micro-intensive, like Blink Stalkers or something. And you can have that back and forth. It's very true to the, like, I don't know, I feel like the goals of the races, right? If you have, like, mass Zergling against Blink Stalker, it feels like such a Protoss versus Zerg thing. I kind of love it. Lumana coming in here now. This is looking very similar to game 1 and to a lot of PvZs, right? The Adepts coming in to harass, getting a few drone kills. They're getting quite a few right now. The third one going to go down before one of the Adepts falls. And then the Oracle follow-up here, of course, from Mana. Very harassment-focused. Atsuko and Carmilla. I love it. I love it, Akari Warrior. Cats are great. I'm very happy with my sweet boy. Even though he's kind of stinky. Not gonna lie, smelliest cat I've ever owned. Like, he doesn't smell, but I'll tell you, man, his poop, whew, is bad. I smelled a lot of cat poop in my time, but his is bad. Might have to adjust the diet. We'll see. Well, and that's the other cool thing, Nidstang, is like, you can overwhelm with Roaches, but if you add the Warp Prism, yeah, 2 Immortals can kill way more Roaches than they have any right to in the hands of somebody very, very good. Because certainly in my hands, I honestly, not microing with the Warp Prism at all would probably be better than what I can do. But in the hands of somebody like Mana, yeah, you can kill like infinity Roaches with 2 Immortals and a Warp Prism. It's insane. You can dodge Roach shots with the Prism. It's like, it's crazy. I don't know, dude. StarCraft 2 is such a good-ass game. Maybe the best-ass game. Mana with some good micro here. Going to get some drone kills. 6 drones going down. Cham's not going to remake any drones, though. Mana needs to recall these Oracles. This is a Bane bust, guys. And Mana has not realized it. And, oh, man, busting makes Cham feel good. There's the recall. It's feeling kind of late, though. The Banelings getting the probe kills. The Oracles are going to start gunning down these Lings, but they don't have infinity energy. There's no shield battery in the main. Now the Oracle's doing a great job, though. Going to target down the Banelings so they can't get on top of these the probes, rather. The probe's going to turn around and Citizens arrest some of those Lings. More Lings are trying to break through right now. The Warpin holding on for the time being. The Oracle's coming down. They're out of juice, but there's another Oracle on the way. The third base might just be dead. I feel like Cham maybe needs to just go for that. These Oracles are, yeah, they're about to run out of juice. That's it. I don't think these Warbins can hold on for long enough. There's more Lings on the way. There's more Banes on the way. If Mana can hold on to this base, I mean, he's in a great spot. But there are just so many Lings coming in. This is the swarm mentality from Cham right now. And Mana just waiting for enough energy for these Oracles to be useful at all. Trying to get as cost-efficient trades as possible here. So maybe the Lings won't be able to get the kill. And yeah, he pushes them away for now. There's enough energy on at least one, I think 2 of these Oracles to turn on. The Lings doing their best. Ooh, can they get the base? Cham is trying to target it down. More Warpins coming in. 4 more Zealots. But I think this base is going to die. Again, Mana just trying to trade as well as he can. He's got to know Cham's economy behind this is not great. And Cham is not traded fantastically. But Cham is droning up now. He's got the Lair and the Roachborn on the way. He's just trying to crack through this and kill the rest of what's here. The Oracle's still just waiting. Look at these Oracles, man. They're like supervisors at a construction site. Yeah. No, you got a Ling problem there, but yeah, you know, I think we're gonna need to clean those Lings up. They're just watching. Oh, one of them's gonna do something. Yeah, just a little bit. He's gonna help out a second. Cham, I think, might need to pull back with these lings. Looks like Mana has recognized that the time of the ling has ended. Gonna retake his third base. For not scouting that, Mana has done a fantastic job of staying in this game. He is a little bit supply blocked at the moment from losing all the pylons over at that third base and the third nexus itself. But he can't build any more probes, so his probe count is hard stuck at 36 right now. He's gonna drop the robo and try to get some tech going. But this is all going to buy time for Cham to get into +1, get into roach speed, cancel whatever that was, and build the Hydrogen instead. And it feels like Cham got the damage done he needed to. Yeah, he didn't trade that well, but he is at 64 drones all of a sudden. So he's going to take a massive lead in the economy after killing a lot of probes, getting some drones out. The Oracle's going to do their best to get some damage done here. They're going to focus down the Queen and focus down a few drones. Really nice micro here out of Mana. Getting 7-8 drones and a Queen. Doesn't lose a single Oracle. Very impressive stuff for Mana. That's the kind of stuff he needs to do to get back into this game, because he's in a tough spot right now. Oh, this is so painful. More supply blocks here as he's trying to get into a prism. And it looks like maybe head into like disruptor drops or something. Disruptors in general, Colossi potentially. Roaches just wandering across the map. Bit of a mistake there from Cham. These 5 oracles flying around like they own the skies. There are hydras coming out. Cham's gonna have a roach hydra ling army. That classic composition. Mana finally able to get into some later tech. Forge, Robo Bay. At least something going here. His economy is... it's getting back up there. He's almost at a good spot economically. But Cham, I mean, his 4th base is finished. He doesn't have anything to defend the oracles right now, but... I mean, he's got units here, so I guess that'll do it. Oh, did 2 of those oracles die? Oh, no. They're still around. One of them died. He's just splitting them up, trying to get some damage done. Cham, though, I mean, he's kind of hitting his stride here, right? His Roach and Hydra upgrades are on the way, or at least partially done. There's a Colossus coming out. Thermal Lance has started. But I feel like Cham's going to hit before then. He's got a solid-looking army out. And I feel like he could put some pressure at least onto this 4th base before Mana has anything out that can really deal with these units. Blink Stalkers just aren't going to cut the mustard against an actual Roach Hydra army. And yeah, I think Mana's going to need to cancel this. Hydra speed finishing up right as they get in here. They already have their range. They have +1 as well, so the upgrades here for Cham a little bit ahead of Mana's. It's going to allow him to stay and upgrade. It looks like 1 upgrade ahead, at least for a little while. He's got the Hive on the way. This is looking very, very nice for Cham. Mana is playing defensively. It's what he needs to do. Keep tabs on things. I love the stasis wards around. Those are very, very crucial. Not being able to get a 4th base up, though, is very painful right now. Cham's economy is very nice. This Colossus can make a difference. Oh, my God. Look at how many Roaches and Hydras are back here, though. The force field's going to keep a lot of these units here, though. Mana taking a very nice trade in that fight. Again, he has traded quite a bit better. But Cham is on 94 drones. Look at his economy just... 5 bases up. Wouldn't hate to see him, honestly, straight up double expand here. I love when Zergs double expand. I feel like I talk about it a lot, but big fan of the double expand. Highly recommend it. Because there's that chance Mana's going to send Zealots in one side or the other, right? But, like, he's not going to hit both sides at the same time. Go for the double. The dirty double. Mana is going for a push right now, and this feels dicey at best. However, Cham's trying to get into lurkers, which are not done yet. He's engaging with Roaches. When the rest of his army isn't here, he's going to run into a stasis trap. Cham was not expecting this, and Mana is taking advantage of the fact that Cham was really unprepared, and he is taking a great start to this fight. He's going to pull back now. He does have a Prism in the main base and a bunch of Zealots in here getting drone kills. Oh my god, the stasis wards. There's so many units that were just doing nothing that whole time. Some of these units popping out, but more of them just getting caught immediately afterwards and getting cleaned up. Mana making moves happen here. These are slow Zealots. Oh my god, they're slow Zealots and they're still holding on. The clutch Lurker Morph with 2 hit points on that Hydra, actually insane. 17 drones going down. More Roaches and Hydras just going to die for absolutely nothing here. Cham has lost so much. He's 5,000 resources worse. Okay, looks like the rest of those Zealots and maybe that Prism went down, so the trade's a little bit better. The Lurkers are done now as well, so Mana's going to have to back up. Man, that went so much better for Mana than it really had any right to. Also allowed him to get his fourth base up. He's got a couple disruptors out too. Cham needs to be careful. Oh my god, Cham! Oh, some splits. Some decent splits. He's going to lose both of the disruptors for that. But that was enough damage where Cham cannot push up this ramp. The triple Colossus here is huge. And while Lurkers are great, they are not the end-all be-all. 3 of them getting caught here. Where are the Vipers? You see Colossi, you need to go Vipers. And uh-oh, these Lurkers. Can they get burrowed in time? Or they're just going to try to run away and not make it. All right, great. 2 of them go down. They panicked. The Lurkers panicked. You can't blame them. Surrounded by Stalkers. Mana, he's on 4 bases. He's holding it solidly. That being said, Cham, he lost a bunch of drones, but he had so many, and now he's replaced them. He didn't even really take that big of a dip in his economy, and now it's back up. So while he's traded so poorly, he's mined enough where that's actually okay. Like, if we look at this, this is like, what, average 1,200 resources more a minute for the last almost 10 minutes. Yeah, he's covered that 4K resource loss difference. That's actually kind of okay for Cham, and that's why he is maxed right now. He's trying to get into double Spire. I still don't think we have any Vipers out, and I feel like that's a big misstep here for Cham. I like the double Spire follow-up. I wouldn't hate to see some Broodlords perhaps come out. I think in the last game, Broodlords could have been a nice piece to add to that army. Mana just trying to find what value he can. He's taking the 5th base over to the left. Cham does not have any counterattacks headed that way. If Mana can get to, like, actual late game again, he's still a ground army right now, and that's scary. Protoss ground, I feel like, loses its luster after a while. But Cham isn't going for those Vipers, which I feel like would do so much work here. If Mana can get into a few more carriers again, I feel like he's going to be in such a great spot. He's double expanding. His 5th just finished, and his 6th is already on the way. Mana continuing to hold, continuing to push this army backwards. And he is nearly maxed. The supplies are very similar right now. Cham, I feel like, might have had an opportunity with this army, but now he's going to have to play defensively. His Mana's going to push out. Cham is only just now finishing up this base up here. Feels so late for a 6th base. He's going to put some counter pressure on here. Just some Lings and Roaches. Super Shield Battery turned on, though, and there's a Disruptor here. At the same time, Cham defending with the Lurkers. He does have units on both sides here. There's a big concave that I don't think Mana's going to want to attack into. The Lings and Roaches get pushed away. The Super Shield Battery doing its job. I wish it had a little thing to show how much health it had healed. How many shields it had healed. There's the 2 more Stargates and the Fleet Beacon going down for Mana, as he's trying to get into that late game tech. It worked so well for him last game, and I feel like while Cham had a big opportunity, right? He was way ahead, hugely ahead economically, had the bigger army, like the better army, and weirdly that was when Mana attacked, and I think it just caught Cham so off guard. He ran into all those stasis wards, lost a lot of stuff very inefficiently, and then wasn't able to do that damage while he had the better economy and stop Mana's economy from growing, right? Mana got the 4th, and then pretty easily after that, the 5th and the 6th. But Cham's 6th is so late. He never tried to get the 7th base at all. I'm really surprised to see him just waiting so long to take these expansions. And I feel like it's really hurt his economy here, where, yes, he has a bank, but it's not huge. Although, as I'm looking down in this area, wow, those upgrades. Okay, Cham's at +3, +2 Carapace. Mana just finished +2. I had not realized the upgrade disparity was so big, but Mana has been so cost efficient regardless of that. Still at that 4,000 resources different here. But Cham has not taken any bad trades in a while, and now he's pretty well set up with that bank and his static defense. He has the Broodlords now. He's got Infestors coming out. This is what we were all talking about he might have needed last game. He is going to be forced to cancel the 7th base and pull back to his static defense here, but still think he's in a fine position. Stalker's looking to get something done, but they are not going to be able to do it up here. Mama is on the way. Mama and Tempests. So Mana getting Mama. Hey there, pretty mama. Excuse me. Oh man, that's a sneeze. Zealot's trying to run by. Static defense is pretty good though. Cham's gonna need to move up and defend this base. He's got to get his stuff over here, I think, to defend. Mana's trying to push in with these Stalkers, but they don't have any shield or armor upgrades, so the +3 attack Lurkers just decimate them. They'll kill the Queen and a Spine Crawler, but a bunch of them go down. I really think if Cham focused more of his forces up here, he could take this base pretty easily. This army, it's fancy, but it's kind of small. Cham's going to push through the middle, though. He broke down these rocks earlier. He's using that area. He's got a couple of Lurkers here, Infestors, Vipers, even a few Corruptors. Mama is out, but with all of this tech at Cham's disposal and a decent amount of anti-air, Mana's going to go for the counterattack. Oh, this feels dicey. He could try to recall out of here. I don't know if he's got a recall available. He does. I think recalling might be the way to go. He's just running away from the Broods, yeah. Out the army goes. He loses one Immortal on the way out. But that's well worth it. That being said, Cham was able to get a kill on the base. So Cham didn't lose a base, just lost his static defense. Kills a base on the other side of the map. Mana does really need that base. His 3rd is getting very, very low. So he is still on like 2.5 bases mining, but he's got to get this base up soon or he's going to be very low. That being said, Cham's economy, I feel like isn't that great either. He's got drones doing nothing up here. 68 drones to 64 probes. The economies are actually going to be pretty similar across the board. Cham really needs this base up. He like really needs that base up. Oh, and he's trying to hit over here, but he's going to get caught by the entire army of Mana. And that's going to be a lot of Lurkers and Hydras getting, well, at least pushed away here. Looks like most of them will survive. Mana needs to be very careful out on the map like this. He's very close to all this static defense. He's in a weird spot where the Vipers might be able to get in here. Fungal goes down on a couple of these Archons. That one whiffs. He was trying to hit the Tempest with that. A fungal parasitic bomb on those Tempests could be huge. They do not have a ton of health. You know, you see like the parasitic bomb go off on like carriers and like, oh, it does no damage. Carriers just have a lot of hit points. Tempests do not. Parasitic bomb will do a lot to them, and with a fungal, that could be huge. But Mana's going to catch this army out of position. There are some Lurkers here. Actually, it looks like Mana might not have detection, so he's going to pull back from the Lurkers. Cham sending the Broodlords to the middle of the map, but where's the rest of his army? Oh my god, he's got to be so careful. Oh! Rest of the army showing up. It's a little bit late, but it will get there. The High Templar in the back. A little too far away to get those feedbacks. It was dicey on both sides. Cham gets in, he gets out. He sees this base is being taken, but all the action on this side of the map has meant that Cham's able to take this base on the left side and actually is putting some pressure on with some Lurkers here. The Lurkers and Zealots both trying to counterattack. We're just posturing. There's a Yoink, gonna take down one of the Tempests. Tempest gunning forward. I would not hate to see parasitic bombs going down on these Tempests. It's actually quite good, and with the Colossi in the army too, it can do a lot of damage even to some of the ground army. I feel like parasitic bombs, not the worst choices. Let's see if Cham's able to get some Yoinks here. There he goes, hits a fungal. No parabomb, but just a couple of fungals here. Oh, he yoinks everything in. Did he yoink too much? No, I think he's gonna get it all done. Another set of fungals going down. Mana trying to push through. The Broodlord count down to 5, but they're still working on it. The Corruptors pushing through the Air Army. The Air Army is pretty much completely gone here. There's no anti-air left for Mana. At the same time, the Lurkers pushing through. And when did Ultras get into this game? Broodlord Ultra, just the one. Who needs more than one? Not Cham. And he's going to kill this base. 23 probes going down. Mana, though, with a big warp and his Stalkers. The ground army is not here. It's down there counterattacking. Lurkers trying to come over and help. But the Broods are all going down. And there's nothing to kill the rest of this army. The Lurkers getting killed. The Observer is here. Oh, man. Cham doing so much in that counterattack. But Mana, with the big Stalker warp in, able to take down those crucial Broods that just didn't have the support. And I think the Infestors, maybe some of these Vipers have gone down as well. One Brood pops, it just dies immediately. There are 2 more Broods over here, 4 more Broods over here. Cham is also in like every single base right now getting stuff done. Mana is getting more and more all in. But does he have the army to actually fight this? One Brood on its own is going to go down. Oh, there's only a few Broods over here. I don't know if they can take the rest of these down. There's no more anti-air in this army except the one Tempest. Bling's coming back. Those are not the units. The one Ultra is here. It's going to die to the Immortals immediately. But there's 3 more Broods. And the anti-air is gone. The Colossus is going to go down. And I think Cham has done it. Mana has no economy. He's got bases. But he's mining with like 7 probes right now. Zealots are doing their best over here, but Cham still has 32 drones. And if he can secure this base and this base, he's going to have plenty of mining. But wait, where did these carriers come from? There's 5 of them. Oh my god, I thought there'd be like 2. There are 5 carriers out. Are there enough Corruptors to deal with this? 7 Corruptors left. Oh, they've taken down 2. 3rd carrier goes down. There's a few Hydras as well, but the Immortals helping against those. The Broodlord's getting targeted down, but the carriers are going to die. There's still going to be 1 Broodlord left. I still think Cham's done it, guys. That's GG. Where did those 5 carriers come from? Mana was banking them. They would have been so useful earlier in that fight, but I don't know if they would have been enough on their own. Cham holds on. What a wild end to that game. Mana down to like 14 supply before he tapped out. And honestly, he shouldn't have tapped out any earlier than that. That was the moment. It's just so crazy how close that got at the end. What a game. Cham takes the 3-1 victory over Mana.